What's going on, good people? Rich here.
Ray P here. Welcome back to another episode of the Culture Garden Podcast. What's going on, Kyron?
Hey, slow motion, man. Ray P back from the Big Easy. She was at the Baxter Hotel. You know what I mean? If you know, you know.
Down
Uh,
on Conti Street.
you already know, man. Always a pleasure being here with you, Rachel. Always a pleasure being here with the Culture Garden family, man. We
For
appreciate
sure.
it. Continuing Romance Month, the third annual Romance Month. Speaking of, I think now would be a good time just to give you a little update on how that month is going to end. So we are here on, as you probably be listening, it's on the 21st or later next week, the last day of Black History Month. All right, because
Mm,
it's not only Romance Month; it is Black History Month. We
for
will be
sure.
having an episode recapping the 25th annual Black Reel Awards.
Yes.
If you remember, in January, we were honored and had the privilege of speaking to Tim Gordon, Cordell Martin, in regards to the Black Reel Awards, what the 25th year means, and just the overall robust conversation. Shout out to School, who was a part of that.
Yeah.
School will be joining us next week as we, if you didn't know, the awards happened. They live streamed them this past Monday. The winners have been announced. Rachel, myself, and School will be discussing what we
There's,
thought of it and what our winners would be. We've been doing a lot of watching,
yes.
a lot of films to go over. I cannot wait. We've had some very, very minor conversations. At least I had with School and Rachel separately. And it's going to be an interesting combo or fun one. Don't get me wrong, but
For
definitely
sure.
interesting just on the state of where films are right now in 2025. And we've mentioned about how televisions have a lot of the good stories and just where things are stacking up. So we won't get too deep into it there. But since we are, last year in the 24th, the Black Reel Awards were in January. So we didn't have to
Mhm.
worry about this. We didn't have to worry about bumping up against it in February. But we don't want to cut y'all short.
Yeah.
We are still going to release our last Romance Month film. It's
Mhm.
just going to be at the top of March, a few days after Rachel's birthday, man. Shout out to the holiday, March 1st.
Hey, big
Um,
Pisces.
you know what I'm saying? But we will be giving y'all that fourth Romance Month movie. It just won't be coming in February. So just want to give everybody an update on what's going on there.
For sure.
We got y'all. No breaks there. Maybe a week or two in between. But White Lotus is back. We have not
Yeah.
recorded our first episode. We'll probably be doing that. Actually, Rachel and myself will need to discuss that once we finish. But I'm sure we'll have that out for you early next week,
Yeah.
discussing episodes 1 and 2 of season 3. And just when you think you're done and we can get through those 8 episodes, we'll be having Raising Canaan,
My
which
Lord.
comes out at the beginning of March, actually
Yeah.
6 days after Rachel's birthday. So a lot of stuff going on. Just make sure you're subscribed. We definitely appreciate your support. Thank you as always. There will be spoilers and explicit content in today's episode. In today's film, we are talking about the 2023 film, The Perfect Find. The synopsis.
Hmm.
After a high-profile firing, Jenna's fashion career comeback hits a snag when she falls for a charming, much younger coworker who happens to be her boss's son. As sparks fly, Jenna must decide if she'll risk it all on a secret romance. Shout out to all the secret romances out there. Shout out to all the real ones too. Shout out to all the
For
public and
sure.
real ones. Something about sneaking and geeking, just
It's
does something to
exciting.
you every now and then. Just a little excitement. So normally we usually do the hey, why this movie? And I'm gonna be all the way real. I don't really know whose idea this was. I know I was supposed to pick a movie. I was supposed to get back with Rachel about a
Hmm.
game plan. I reached out to Rachel about some completely other shit, and she was like, "My nigga, you ain't even tell me about the first shit you were supposed to be telling me about." We had a different movie plan, but we scrapped that, and it was just one of those. I guess I'll get into it a little bit. I remember when this film came out. I remember watching it right away, and I remember
Hmm.
saying, all right, it was cool. Didn't love it, didn't hate it. I just
Yeah.
don't really feel anything about it, and I don't think I really watched it since it came out." And I
Hmm.
was like, that would be a perfect film to go back because, like I said, it was cool. It did what it was supposed to do, but it felt like it was missing something. And I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, this is the perfect thing. Rachel was excited to talk about it, and here we are discussing it. So that's pretty much how we landed on this today. When it comes to the stats, this film premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival June 14th of 2023, released on Netflix June 23rd of 2023.
Hmm.
Directed by Numa Perrier, she also created Reasonable Doubt and The Wonder, or she maybe not created. She directed episodes of Reasonable Doubt on Hulu and The Wonder Years, the new version, not the
Black
the
version.
OGs. Yeah, the black version. There you go. It's based on a book written by Tia Williams. Rachel, have you read the book?
No.
Okay, we're going to talk about this. All right, we're going to talk about the book. I have
Okay.
thoughts and I have questions for you.
Okay.
Do you know anything about the book?
No, I didn't know that it was based on a book until I did my rewatch because I don't think I paid attention to the credits when I first watched it for leisure.
Okay. As I get your thoughts, I have questions for you.
Okay.
I did some, obviously, me, of course, I'm going to do some digging. I did some digging and found out some things about the book, and it really would have made this film a lot more enjoyable had they stuck more to the actual book.
Okay. That's
We'll talk
usually how
about
it
it.
goes.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. I don't know. It's usually how that goes, but I don't know why they diverted from what was in there. I think it would have worked better. But movies, who knows? You never know. The screenplay was written by Lee Davenport, who actually created Run the World.
Yeah, our girl.
Yeah, man. Shout out to her, man. We also covered that on We Got Y'all. Another shameless plug for the television pod.
For sure.
Had a budget of an estimated. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Didn't have any budget because it's a Netflix film. None of that information was available. So obviously there's no theater information. And as I mentioned, it is currently streaming on Netflix. Awards, it had 4 nominations and 1 win. It was nominated for 3 NAACP Image Awards, but did not win any. All right. They were nominated for Outstanding Actor for Keith Powers, Outstanding Actress for Gabrielle Union, and Outstanding Director for Numa Perrier. And then it won the audience award for narrative, the narrative category at the Tribeca Film Festival. So it did win something there. We'll talk about the cast. Gabrielle Union is Jenna. Keith Powers is Eric. What else do you know? I know Keith Powers from other things. Do you remember? Do you watch anything else with Keith Powers in it?
Is he in All the Queen's Men?
I don't know.
I don't. I remember. I know that there was some scandal around some inappropriate things, and maybe he was talking about it. No, recently, I don't know.
A scandal with what?
Like Hollywood misconduct.
I want to know about. I don't know. He actually, what I was surprised was, and maybe because this film has everything to do with the older woman dating a younger man. I didn't know he was older. He's older than what I thought he was. He's only 5 years younger than us.
Oh, okay.
And I thought he was like the new, like one of the grownish type of age, right? But maybe they in their 30s too. I feel like they're still in their mid to late 20s.
They're in their late 20s. Like even from The Shot, Jacob Lattimore, he's only like 28 or 9.
Yeah, see, I thought he might have been somewhere lumped in, like maybe 20. Because how old is Yara? Like 24, 25? Like she's super young. Yeah, because Marseille and them and Miles, they like 19, 20.
Yeah, they're like 19. Yara, she's at least 24, 25. However old Malia Obama is, because I know they were roommates at Harvard. So
okay, I got you. You know what? Speaking of, I'm only thinking about this because of our random tangent. I meant to say something about a message I got from my brother Donovan.
Hey, Donovan.
I'm gonna go ahead and shout out to D Hall, man. I'm gonna read this because it was just dope to hear and read, because Donovan is like my real life friend, real life brother. Like that's family, man. It's elementary school. So it's one of those situations where people close to you, I don't want to say take it for granted, but it's almost assumed that the support is there, right?
Yeah.
The support me since I've known him. So it's not new or anything, but it is cool to kind of have those moments where we talk about, he listens to Culture Garden faithfully.
Yeah.
So it's cool to get certain messages from him. And I wanted to read one that he sent me. He sent me randomly. We were just talking and he was like, man, I rented one of them days on Amazon Video. Right? Shout out to SZA, shout out to Kiki, shout out to Issa, everybody else involved.
For sure.
And I was like, man, let me know what you think when you watch it. He was like, I watched it. It was cool. I'll put it like this. I could see it being on School's Guilty Pleasures or an episode of The Culture Garden. I could see it being one of those hour-long episodes where you and Ray P tell stories for about 45 minutes of random shit. Right? Like y'all might have had similar situations. Y'all just go on your own personal story tribe. He was laughing. I was like, man, that's a fair point. And he said, man, I'm so tapped in with y'all that's how I judge the shit that I watch. Can this make the Culture Garden? And what level is it? Is it a Culture Garden movie or is it like a School's Guilty Pleasure movie? And I just told him, man, that's dope, bro. Real shit.
I love
and
it.
then we ended up having another conversation about my White Girl Set It Off cast, and his excitement for wanting to go see it. I also talked to school, and I was like, hey, man, let me ask you this. I asked him the same question. He said, I'm going to see that shit open at night. I think you're the only one that's like, fuck that. He said Bradley Cooper could play Nate. I'm in the bond, Nate. Yeah, Bradley Cooper can play Nate.
Bradley Cooper is too fine. And even though he's older, he's too young for a Nate character.
We'll talk about casting another day. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole today. But White Set It Off. I'm just telling y'all, man. If I saw that trailer, somebody owes some money to the Culture Garden.
Flop.
But anyway, Keith Powers, like I said, I just remember the first time I saw him was on he was Dr. Dre's little brother on Straight Outta Compton, and I know he's been in other things. But like I said, he's acting. He's a working actor, so shout out to him. Gina Torres is Darcy. Big Gina Torres fan. I'm a real big Gina Torres fan. Yeah, absolutely. Not to mention, I think I Love My Wife is one of those underrated films to me. Like, I enjoy that movie. It's 25 minutes too long, but it is a very enjoyable film. Shout out to Kerry Washington, who did her thing in that. We also have Lala Anthony. Lala is in everything, man. Shout out to Lala for staying with a check. She played Elodie. She played Elodie. Aisha Hines is Billy. Janet Hubert, legend, queen, as Monica. Shayna McHale as Carlita. I didn't know she was I think she's a rapper. I know her stage name is Jungle Pussy. She's the one that played Tim's girlfriend, the one that was feeling Lala.
Yeah, I know the character's name.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the JP part that you still.
Yeah.
I just listen. It says better known by her stage name. So shout out to her. Sterling Brim, Stilo Brim as Tim, and DB Woodside, Blue. Shout out to Blue, man. As never came out that kitchen.
Man.
Never came out that kitchen.
He never brought them short ribs.
Never brought them short ribs out of there, man. Shout out to DB Woodside as Brian in this film. I think we both can agree, movie poster Hall of Fame. I don't think this one qualifies. I almost kind of really love a little bit. Just my opinion, whatever.
Okay.
Very similar. Rachel.
Yes.
And speaking of really love.
So good. When you go back.
Might have to do a 2.0. Yeah, because that was a very early Culture Garden episode. We weren't we weren't who we are yet. And I would love to revisit that. Rachel, is this a classic or not?
Okay, no. Okay. But it is still very good. It is still enjoyable, and I'll revisit it. Like, it doesn't go in the I'm never watching this again pile.
How do you feel? I'm just going to ask you, what's your overall thoughts on this movie? Like, how do you feel about it, even rewatching it? What are your thoughts? Do you love it? Are you indifferent about it?
So, as this is a Netflix film,
it feels like one too.
I'll give it the 2 thumbs up, but not a love it.
I did the 1 so it's the thumbs down, 1 thumb up, and 2 thumbs up. I gave it the 1 thumb up.
I'm gonna give it a thumbs up because I would like to see more Black movies. I will watch this again, and I enjoy it. And maybe it might be just sort of the energy that I'm in, but I was having a lot of internal dialogue while watching it this go round. So I'm actually excited to get into the conversation. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'll start by saying this. A lot of people don't like this movie.
Yeah, it didn't get great reviews.
Not in the way. When we did Malcolm and Marie, we talked about that as well, right? We talked about how we were kind of in the minority, at least then, right? Immediate reaction when that movie came out, people didn't know what to make of it. I think that might have turned the corner a little bit now that it's been a few years. But you and I were like, nah, I love this shit right away.
Yeah.
I think people didn't like that movie because it was different. You had 2 actors, COVID was going on. Life was just freshly weird.
Yeah.
Now it's seasoned weird. But it was freshly weird back then. And I just don't know if people knew how to take that film, especially when you have two actors like Zendaya and John David Washington. Maybe your expectations are looking for something else. I can understand that. This one was more of a multiple things that just didn't work, right? I talked about the book, which we'll get into. I think they could have stuck to like maybe a central storyline. A lot of people did not believe the chemistry between Keith Powers and Gabrielle Union. They didn't believe it, and I kind of feel that way, right? I 100% believe that they was getting it in. The "I love you and want to be with you" part, that seemed a little far-fetched.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was the casting. I can't really put my thumb on it because it's not like I dislike either one of their performances. But something about it just, and I don't want to say Gabrielle Union, her character, Jenna. Jenna. For her to be 40, she was very, do I want to say childish?
Ooh. Okay.
She was kind of, who's the adult? There was too many moments where I'm like, who's the adult here? Okay. And I just didn't expect that for somebody as accomplished as Jenna, as someone who's been in such a long-term relationship as Jenna, for Eric to be the voice of reason. Like, I don't know. It just felt a little bit odd. I don't see somebody with that much success falling for a nigga like that. Yes, I can have some fun. Huh? You can have some fun. Yeah. And I don't know. She tried to have both sides, but be honest about what it is. Like, we just fucking. Like, kid, we just fucking. I'm enjoying this. But there's never going to be me and you front page like I was with my last nigga. Yeah. Like, it's just not going to happen just because of circumstance, because your mom is my boss for a million different reasons. And it just seemed like I just didn't believe that she would put her whole career on the line.
Well, did you feel like she tried to do that? She told him, like, hey.
She snuck in the fucking penthouse of her boss.
After the fact, after the love, quote unquote.
But I don't believe that she even got there. I think that was just some shit to do. And she got trapped in the saying "I love you" and then be like, "Oh shit, what the fuck did I do?" We've all been there. Maybe not the "I love you" part, but we've all been in a situation where you look over like, "Yo, how the fuck is this still going on?"
Ooh, baby, my lord. I'm gonna just shoot Jenna a little teeny tiny bit of bail, just based off of what you said, because she had been in a relationship for so long. In my opinion, and even experience, not to get too anecdotal, I think that when you've been with one person for so long, you really kind of only know how to be with them. And there is a part of you, when you come out of it, if you have not done the work or are not doing the work, and clearly Jenna was not, she was locked up in her mama's house. You kind of get stuck where you were. So, yes, she's 40. She was with that man for 10 years, but maybe low key, she's like really 30 out here in the dating streets and not a 40-year-old woman.
That's fair. Like, all right, that's fair. That's fair. All right, that's fair. Okay. I get that. I get that.
You know.
Yeah. All right, we'll talk about it as we get into scenes and other things. Just some of it just didn't seem, like I said, as realistic as possible. But either way, as far as the origin of the film, like I said, it's adapted from a book from Tia Williams. So we'll talk about that. This film had been really in production since the end of 2018, so even pre-COVID, right? It had been talked about. Gabby Union was set to star because I think her production company was involved with this.
Okay.
Yeah, she was produced and starred in this film. And they had a lot of different things going on as far as like trying to find somebody to adapt the screenplay. We talked about that. They picked a director in 2020. Obviously, COVID happens. A lot of different things go on. Slow that down. Keith Powers gets involved in December 2020. And I want to talk to you about this. Do you know who was supposed to play the Gina Torres character originally?
No.
Niecy Nash was supposed to play that role. Does that change anything for you?
No, but I could see it.
I 1,000% could see it, but I don't think it changes. I think both of them. I love Niecy Nash and Gina Torres equally, pretty much, and I think they both would have bodied the role. But obviously, Gina Torres ended up getting it, and then everybody else was added on later. They filmed it in Jersey, and Manhattan, and Newark, and places like that. So, not too much on the origin besides that, but I do want to. Trying to think, how do I want to have this conversation with you? if I want to talk about the book now, or if I want to talk about it as we get into certain scenes. And I think we should probably talk about first experience. Before even getting to that, let's talk about first experience, Rachel, because I've been talking a lot. Do you remember your first time watching this film, and do you remember your immediate reaction from watching
it? I do. So, like you said, this came out June 2023. I had actually just had surgery the day before this came out. So both my parents were here with me, and imagine watching this movie with RP Senior. My goodness.
I would have loved to hear her commentary. I want to hear what she thought about this film.
She did not love it.
I don't doubt that.
She did not love it because all y'all can think about is screwing. Her words. so my dad, he was, nonchalant, whatever. He don't give a fuck. But yeah, RP Senior face scrunched up the whole time. And how can you sit and watch something like this? Girl, please go sit down. Go downstairs. So that was my first experience.
I did not watch it the day it came out. I definitely watched it within that month. I think it was the end of June, so I watched it by July for sure.
Okay.
Once again, just wanted to see what was going on. Y'all know we're doing Romance Month for the third year in a row. I love rom-coms. Y'all know that about me. So anytime it drops, especially a black cast, I'm all in. I liked it, right? I liked it. Didn't love it. Didn't dislike it, didn't hate it. It just really made me feel like, all right, cool. It felt like there was more to be done. Right? Like there was more story that could have been told, and maybe they didn't know exactly where to take it.
Yes.
And you just kind of get everything just kind of moves pretty quickly, right? There were some things that were mentioned, even when we talk about the first meeting with Jenna and
Eric.
What's my man? No. Why can't I think of Darcy? I'm sorry. Jenna and Darcy, right? And all that stuff. And even Eric, right? So that's a perfect example. I'm glad you said that. Jenna and Eric's first meet. That just felt, and maybe that's part of the reason. Let's take this back. Maybe that's part of the reason why it didn't feel real to me. That didn't feel, that just them naturally conversing, like you're not drawn to each other this quickly, in my opinion. Maybe if there's a little bit more, maybe a glance across the room first, and then they end up in a room. Just something. Like I just don't see this woman walking in this room, seeing this nigga. He say a couple little third grade game bars, and then now all of a sudden you making out in public. My nigga, when's the last time you made out in public with somebody you don't know, Rachel? Come on, man.
The last CIAA here in Charlotte.
And what were your thoughts? Like, I'm wilding, right? I remember mine. I was actually, the last time that happened to me was the last time I was actually embarrassed. Like the next day, I was embarrassed. I was wild. And I was like, it's not embarrassed. Like, oh, I can't believe I did that. It was more so like, I can't believe I did that in the sense of what was I on? Like, bro, how did you even drink that much to be on that type of time? But that's not even you. That's so far from my personality. I ain't give a fuck. It was wild.
Okay.
Yeah. In public with a stranger? That's wild.
See, I think this is where we're different. I'm such a ridiculous ass person. And sometimes the vibe is just, it overtakes you.
I get it. No, the vibe has definitely overtaken me before, but in public.
We're here. This is where we are. Where are you gonna go? Go to the bathroom? Go to the coat room? No, it's dirty. It probably stinks in there.
Nigga, all right, man.
By the time we leave, and by the time we walk somewhere else, I'm gonna be over it. So you have to catch it right now. It's like catch a fire.
That's fair. All right, that's fair. You know what? Yeah, not to get too anecdotal. You're right. But it's one of those where I want to. Every time I come back to it, I feel like it's there. Right? I'm just missing it. It's there. Right? Because it's not one of the films that we've had those discussions where I'm like, I'll never watch this again.
Yeah.
Like, I'll never come back to it again.
Yeah, can't wait till
this
Black
one.
Real.
Nah, I but this one is not. I want to find it because I know it's there somewhere. But upon reading reviews and what other people thought, they're saying a lot of the same thing. Like it just didn't curl all the way over for them, and there's too many things. They didn't think it was a. What I read a lot of was, and this I guess it would be the perfect segue. A lot of people who read the book just said, "Man, this just really didn't do." For this to be the representation of Tia Williams in her work, like it doesn't give a good representation of what her novels are about. Okay. I think that was a lot of the feedback too, right? And a lot of people were saying, "Hey, I love Gabrielle Union, but this just wasn't it," or a lot of different things, man. So I mentioned some things about the book, and there's some things that are just kind of minor, name changes. Darzine was really Stylezine, small stuff like that. A little changing of the weather as far as like the cab argument. But there are a couple of things that I think is very interesting, and I want to get your opinions on, Rachel. Jenna and Eric, right? So their first time together was really on a official date night. It wasn't at a party at the crib.
Okay.
All right. It was at an official date night, and that's when they ended up going. I think personally, as I said, I don't believe them. Maybe if I do get a date, some one-on-one time, even though the party's believable, right? Because I can't. I'm not good at that. I can't tell how many times I've witnessed other people.
For sure.
Have the vibe at the kickback and just disappear into that room or do whatever, right?
For sure.
That's usually where it happens.
For sure.
Right? So I can understand that. But I do think that would have seen some one-on-one time before. That way there's a little bit more direction, in my opinion. Right? They fell into that sneaky trap of Eric was telling her, "Yeah, I like you," and she was like, "I like my career, but you still fucking." And you never really circle back to what this is. Yeah. Eventually, you see her feeling a little something, but it's not all the way there. One thing that they mentioned was Brian, who's played by D.B. Woodside. Yeah. In the book, he's a much more prominent figure. He's also
white.
Yeah. The director really wanted to make sure this was an all-black cast. So they changed it, but he was a tall white guy that Jenna fell hopelessly in love with. Does that matter to you on some something new type shit? If that's a white guy,
you know what?
Reeling over, does that make a difference for you?
You know what? No, I'm glad Lee did what she did, but I could actually see Brian being white.
It makes sense. Yeah, it would make sense, but it also makes sense for him to be a nigga like this. You know what I mean? For like sure. Brian for in this, like he is in the film. They also had more scenes, like I said, in the film. They actually went on a date. I think she went back to the home that they shared together, and then she realized, I really like Eric and things like that. But I don't know. I wish we had a little bit more Brian or not Brian at all. It just seemed like one of those things where they didn't loop it all the way together. Once again, goes back to the same thing. I don't mean to repeat myself. I just didn't care. I didn't care about the whole Brian aspect of it. I know you sent a gourmet coffee and you not name dropping, but subtly name dropping in the Forbes article and making phone calls. And that I thought of you when Jenna asked him, "How did you get my address?" And Darcy said she's tired of looking at gifts coming in here that ain't for me. I said that's some shit Rachel would say.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on?
Way too often are you sending gifts and ain't none of these got my name on them, man. Send them to her address. This is what it is right here. That's some Ray P shit all day.
Send them to her or send me something too.
Yeah.
You want to be so bad?
Absolutely. But I'll tell you what was the most interesting, in my opinion. Difference. Well, two things. One, the baby news wasn't as dramatic in the book. And what I mean by that, Eric wasn't upset in the book about her being pregnant.
Okay.
Right? Also, there was no reveal to Eric about her being pregnant. So in the book, years later, they randomly run into each other at a park in Brooklyn.
And she got a toddler.
And that's how he finds out on some May photograph type shit. That's how he finds out he has a baby.
Oh wow, I hate that. Okay.
Because she didn't want
to derail his life and his dream. He didn't want kids.
Damn, Rachel, you good.
Got
That's
it.
exactly what it was. So in the book, they said she didn't want to get away with him. Hey, he's in his 20s. I want him to experience his 20s. I want him to pursue his filmmaking, his passions. He didn't want no kids, like you said, Rachel. I'm gonna go ahead and just take care of his baby. And then, of course, he runs into him. They do name it Otis after his dad. But in the book, like I said, he's really excited. He wants to have a baby, and all that kind of good stuff. So, but the most interesting thing, at least I would have liked to see this play out on film, is, you know what? I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it for when we get to the scene. It's the last thing. I'll
Okay.
save it for when we get to the scene. We'll flip it like
Okay.
that. So let's go ahead and talk about best scenes, Rachel. I'm gonna
Let's
let you
get
lead
into
it
it.
off. I'm gonna let you lead it
Obviously,
off.
yeah, obviously we're going to start with the opening just because um the photo montage to open it does a good job of telling us, and then it puts us right in where was her mother living?
They didn't say, because she
Okay.
definitely wasn't.
Not in New
It
York.
wasn't New York. Yeah, I'm
Um
assuming Jersey. Maybe she was in Jersey. I don't know.
wherever she was.
Yeah.
It shows us that she was destitute essentially, because do you know what it takes as a 39 almost 40-year-old woman to go move back in with your mother after having such a life, and uh your career being ruined by this, in part due to this relationship and the things that happened in the aftermath? We see when we meet Jenna, she's at fucking rock bottom. And not only are you in your mother's house, your mom and dad are still fucking. And you have to deal with the fact that your mother is putting you out because she got a man. And he won't touch her because your daddy, being the sensitive father that he is, doesn't want you to hear that that's the time.
Mm-hmm.
They feel like making love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just love that. So we meet Jenna knowing that her face has been cracked and she is literally, quote unquote, starting from the bottom. Maybe not the basement, but at least the first or second floor, because she was able to get back into that Brooklyn apartment. And it's, from what I understand, it is damn near impossible to get a fucking apartment in New York. Like, you need proof of a year's worth of employment. You need just all of these other, you have to jump through all these other hoops that most of us in other cities don't have to go through to get an apartment. So shout out to her being able to have the finances and show proof that she was able to sustain that place while she was currently unemployed.
Yeah, man. I don't know how she did it. I don't know how anybody in New York does it, but shout out to y'all. Anytime, especially in the movies, when I see y'all just moving into these New York apartments,
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking about Disappearing Acts. I'm like, nigga, wasn't she a teacher?
Yeah.
Like, and that part of that is teachers are criminally underpaid. Shout out to
For
all the teachers
sure.
out there.
For
But
sure.
we all know how expensive New York is, and just to see people who make not a lot of money,
Yeah.
or might be unemployed, who knows what her savings is like, because she's been at home for the past year, whatever it's
Mm-hmm.
been. But to just see them casually move into these New York apartments, I always get a kick out of that, because I know it's not
Always.
that easy.
Always.
Um,
Shout out to this movie though, because it's one of the few films that I've seen that actually showed all the trash on the ground in the middle of the day.
I appreciate the realism. New York's a dirty city, man. You know what? You know what I just thought of when you mentioned the opening?
Yes.
I mentioned earlier about how it felt like it was missing things as far as like
Mm-hmm.
connecting certain dots, and I wonder. You're right. The opening did do a great job, because when I did it on my second watch, I was like, all right, I'm reading these headlines and I'm just kind of keeping
That's
up with the
it.
timeline. They
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of things to accelerate what you should know. But I think we live in such a distracted society that you look at it
Exactly.
as these are just opening credits, nothing's happening. So
Mm-hmm.
I might be able to check this message or scroll on this post,
No,
and you
you gotta
miss some
watch.
pertinent information. Yeah, and
Mhm.
I'm thinking maybe some of that is there. So I'm glad that you brought that up. My scene will probably be right after that. So Jenna meets with Darcy at her office.
Okay. I got that
And
lumped into the opening. Go ahead.
okay, then yeah. So just my 2 cents on the opening.
Mhm.
Then that's part of it, is what I really enjoyed, because I like to see. We all love a good comeback story, right?
For sure.
And the way she walked in, she had that shit on, and
Period.
you see that people, and not only that, I like when films show us who this person is supposed to be. You don't tell us, you show us. She walked in the room, those twins was like, oh shit,
Those
you Jenna
adult twins.
Jones. Those adult twins, right? You Jenna Jones. Like, so we know right away you are somebody. In this world. You are somebody. So you're not just some whoever off the street or some random old co-worker. You ain't, you know what I mean? You were somebody coming in here, and you coming in correct. You ain't coming in like Eddie Kane, you know, through the gates with the old suit on. Like, you look like you're here for a comeback, but it also showed the inner workings of her and Darcy's relationship. Their literal shared history. Given that Darcy, or excuse me, Jenna, knowingly or unknowingly, it's up to you, slept with Darnell, Darcy's boyfriend, and everything else. But also just it lets you know how smart Jenna is. Because Darcy, you know that if I'm here, that I'm desperate. But I'm not just desperate, I'm also smart, because I've been paying attention to what you've been doing. And the one hole that you have, I'm the person that can fix it.
Yeah.
This is going to be a mutual, this is going to be mutually beneficial for both of us. I don't care what you think about me, how much you dislike me. You know there's nobody like me when it comes to this. So go ahead and just offer me. And I just love the pettiness of, you know, I can't say yes if you don't ask.
Yeah.
And just that back and forth of it, man. I'm like, oh, this is some bullshit. But I really enjoyed that because it told you everything you need to know about their history. It's tense, but not tense enough to where we can't be smart about this and we can't be civil. We can still work together and get some things done. So I definitely like that scene. What's your next one?
My next scene is actually them at the club upon entry into the club, just because there's nothing like, one, we're going to celebrate this new job, celebrate whatever it is that we have going on when you and your girls hit the spot. But also in this celebration, bitch, you've been going through it. So it's not just this new job. Like, we're going to have a good fucking time. And I'm going to find you some dick. It's some dick in here. And I'm going to get it for you. So I just love that. And we started off this episode talking about essentially being ridiculous people. I liked it just because as soon as I saw it, once Jenna and Eric met, I got so much pink and green. I was taken back to the many a time where I have been randomly kissing a stranger in the club, or you find yourself just like engulfed in conversation and energy that you don't even know where this came from. Why are you in this person's face like that? Why are y'all fucking holding hands? What's going on? Sometimes it just be like that. And maybe it doesn't take you literally falling off this nigga's lap or falling off the chair, but something almost always will snap you back into reality. Like, what the fuck am I doing? All right. Enough.
Listen,
I see you. It's been real.
Hey, listen, there's nothing like a good moment in a good club session. I want to be very clear on that. We've all had them. All right. I'm not exempt from that list. We've all had them. When it's up to me and I'm in the right state of mind, I just prefer for me to be like, you know what? Let me move this to the side. Let me get in the cut real quick. But they do happen, so it doesn't matter. And that's part of it. And that's what's cool. It just seemed like it was a little bit. Did you really jump to this? Like I get the instant attraction between the both of them. You saw that. And sometimes, all right. Let me turn my brain off. I was just about to say that. Let me turn my brain off from knowing the rest of this movie and just really look at it for what it is. Right?
Yeah.
Haven't been outside. I'm just now getting back to New York, which was my stomping ground. One thing that you mentioned that I meant to comment on, Rachel, her being in a high-profile relationship, not just in a relationship. It's cool if you win 10 years, only your friends know. It's a different when the rest of the city and everybody in your circle and your crowd knows, right? So we see her at that party, and oh, girl, like I haven't seen you for like the last 5 fashion weeks. Oh man, you so strong for being out here. I ain't seen nobody take an L like that ever. First of all, stop playing with me.
Yeah, because I'm about to beat your ass.
Yeah, I don't even know who you are for real. So don't get too familiar. But secondly, just reminding us that The only thing worse, well, not worse, because some people like being in the public eye and they like living like that. But when you do it like that, you got to deal with the downfall. When your peaks, when your wins are in the media, so are your losses.
For sure.
You see it every day in real life. And she's got to step outside with this. And that's really why she was in the room to begin with. I haven't been outside. It's been 10 years. It's a whole different world than what I was used to.
For sure.
I'm not feeling none of this. This nigga tried to bite my shoulder. This other nigga doing this other shit. Like, I'm cool. I'm gonna hit the weed pen. I'm gonna hit the weed pen and I'm gonna stare at the skyline and try to figure out how the fuck did I end up here, right? And then you see out of nowhere this person. I was like, oh shit, I'm not even thinking about what's next, what's tomorrow. But at this moment, we can play a little bit.
You know that pen heightened the intensity of it all.
Definitely heightened it. Yeah, it had to, because she said I'm Lowry's. Don't say that. I'll get up and leave, man. Don't talk yourself out of this shit.
Come on, she's 40.
Shut your corny ass up, man. And sit on my lap. Stop playing with me. But yeah, no, I think I love you. I think they said that. I think I love you.
Crazy.
I don't know if they were joking.
Just
I don't know what it was.
And high talking shit. That's it.
And that's all it was. And we'll talk about it because Eric's response to it later on. I guess I don't know if that's your next scene. We can roll right into it. Is it when they found out when Jenna finds out that Eric is Darcy's son?
It's not. So if that's yours, go ahead.
Okay, so let's just roll into it. Jenna finds out Eric's Darcy's son and that they will be working together, right?
Crazy.
So famous movie trope. We've seen this before. You meet someone, don't know it's them. We just did fucking You Got Mail not too long ago. That shit happens, right? The reason I have that scene written down is not just for that. It's morely because of how Eric handled it. The way Eric handled it is how I would have handled it.
For sure.
Right? Because I would have thought that shit was funny. There wouldn't have been no, especially being him and being the younger person.
I would say it's funny because you're a kid.
Yes, it's funny because I'm the younger one. If the roles was flipped, actually, it's actually kind of creepy. For all of you out there who've seen Old School, there was a similar moment where Luke Wilson's character is at his new house, which is on the college campus. You know what I mean? Sleeps with this girl, goes to work the next day, find out that's his boss's daughter.
Crazy.
When you like that, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
When you the young nigga, hell yeah. Let's get to this. I'm gonna smile. I'm gonna crack my jokes. First of all, I've told y'all plenty of times, your nigga Rich don't kiss and tell. You talking about you worried about my mom? You ain't got to worry about that, my nigga. I'm not gonna tell you. And calm down. Calm your old ass down. We was kissing. We was drunk. The world's gonna keep spinning. I don't know why you so amped. It's gonna be all right. And not lastly, you gotta admit this is kind of funny. Like I'm about to have some fun with this. I think this is hilarious. The whole nine. Take a breath. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's good to see you. And I'm trying to do it again. And I'm trying to hit for real. So what's up? You know what I mean? So what's up? Now that we here, it actually works out. Because you ran out without me even getting your info. Look at God.
You know, all of that to a degree. But I can't say that I would not have reacted like Jenna too. Because again,
at this age,
she's desperate for this job. I was already fucking your mama's niggas. Maybe even your daddy. We only know about Darnell. She might have fucked Otis too. We don't know.
You wild.
We don't know. Ergo, I need this money. I can't have anything distracting and disrupting my work here because it's imperative. It's necessary to my life. I need it because I am 40 and you are 25, 6 with your master's.
No.
You still got your mama's breath on you. I cannot play with you. And I appreciate you being cool. Haha, you cool. Don't play with me
more
though.
Than that. Yeah. And I do like the fact that there wasn't anything more than that. I'm glad it wasn't like a sleep together thing. Because it's an easy thing to back out of. Like, yeah, I'm too old to be doing this. But we ain't do anything really. Like we just had a little kiss in a moment and that was it. I ain't, and
for sure.
Shout out to being 20, man. Shout out to being in your 20s and just that you've never experienced that rush of just being the young nigga and just having the older. Shout out to Larry Jones, man. I fuck a chick out of her 401k. Like, there's that feeling, that rush is just.
See, you know what?
Just
I'm gonna
it's
tell y'all
unexplainable.
something. I did something I've never done before in New Orleans. I gave my number to a little nigga. He's not even 30. But this little whippersnapper. I said, whoa, you're how old? You're how old? He said, don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
It's okay. I like them older. Excuse me.
Hey, man, listen, I've been there. I understand the young man's energy.
I can't play with these young people, but he's so funny, Loki.
Man.
Okay,
hey,
go
man,
ahead.
hey, man, get that 401k out you, man. What's up? Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me, auntie. Straight up.
You're teething.
What's your next scene?
New Orleans, you're teething them. My next scene is actually not until the cab ride after the failed shoot with T.S. Madison.
Same. I only have that scene down for one thing, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and take that.
I have that because you started off saying that she was too old to be acting how she was acting. That cab ride when his phone rang, to me, I have it as a favorite quote unquote scene because it bothered me. Because I did feel like she was too old to be acting like that. And other than that one night at the club, we met at work. This is our technically third, but really only our second time really around each other. So there should be no feeling or no social commentary about who's calling my phone, who's doing what. Like, you really outside the bounds of your business. So shout out, I'm not getting out the cab in the rain, but shout out to him for doing so because it was a ridiculous back and forth. Like, who the fuck you talking to? And what the fuck is you on?
In the book, it was the summertime, so it was like scorching heat. And I think she might have been the one to get out and walk back to the office. It don't matter. Either way, the only reason you just hit on it, Rachel, that I had this scene written down is because upon first watch, you think she's being sarcastic.
No, she was dead ass.
She was dead ass serious. And you know why? Because last week we did About Last Night, and there was a very similar moment when Allison, the ex-girlfriend for Danny, shows at the bar. Oh, did you break up? Something's wrong. I hope it wasn't for me. That was sarcasm, right? Even though she low key meant that. Her crazy ass really meant that, but it was more so lighthearted. This sounded lighthearted, and then you run the scene back like, nah, she dead ass. She's talking about I'm a woman's woman. Y'all didn't do nothing because of me. I'd have been like, yo, you wilding right now if you think that I broke up this woman because of you. Because we didn't even do shit.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? Are you serious right now? You for real?
Crazy.
Like, who do you think you are? Like, that's why I had the scene written down because I always thought that was funny. Because I swear the first watch, I thought she was just being a dickhead and just trying to be funny. And then I was like, nah, she really mean that shit. She really thought that she the reason that him and his girl broke up. And I thought that shit was hilarious.
I think she started off being a jerk, being funny. But then the longer it went on, it's like, oh, you mean this?
Yeah, tell me you didn't break up because of me. Like, what? Huh?
Why the fuck would I? Are you crazy?
Yeah. That don't even make sense. That don't even make sense. But shout out to them. Shout out to them.
I drunkenly kissed an old bitch in the club. Please.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've done that.
Story you'll never know about.
Yeah. The plot twist is that she was the third chick that night that I made out with in that same room, man. Go on somewhere. You ain't special.
Come on. Yeah, what is we talking about?
I am curious about one thing, though. I did want to ask you this.
What?
That scene, was that a club or was that a party?
Like a private party. A lounge.
Maybe a lounge. Okay, so it was public. All right, never mind it. Because I was for some reason, every time I watch it, I feel like that's like a smaller kind of private party, not like general public.
Mm-hmm.
And my first thought was like, how do y'all end up in the same place anyway? Now it is New York, and anything's possible in cities like New York, LA, and stuff like that. But I'm like, man, if I'm at my age where I am now, if I walk into a spot and there's 25, 26-year-olds, I'm like, I gotta get the fuck up out of here.
Now then, there's that.
I gotta get the fuck up out of here, man. Like, I'm in the
Okay.
wrong spot. There's been plenty of time. I think I told in the story, man. Me and Good. That was the last time me and Good tried to go out, like on a late night, man. We got to the club, man. We went there. We was there so early. They told us we ain't even open yet. And I'm like, oh, it's over. It's over. Yeah.
Get that old nigga out of here.
Good hit me with one of them random phone calls. Like, hey, bro, you trying to go out tonight? I'm like, huh? And I'm like, I guess we can see what's going on, man. We got to that motherfucker. They say, oh, yeah, what y'all need? What you mean? We trying to get in? We ain't open yet. I'm like, oh man, it's retired. It's cool.
What time did y'all get there?
Like 9:30.
All right.
10. I don't know, man. Like, listen.
What?
Hey, listen. We thought it was late. It was over, man. First battle Hall of Famers. Jerseys are in the rafters, but it's time to sit on the bench now, fellas. Either way, going on to the next scene. My next scene would be, and if you have anything before this, let me know. Jenna and Eric, and this is where the movie kind of picks up for me. This is when I'm like, all right, then. Jenna and Eric bonding over the Nina Mae McKenna.
Okay.
Black film, old Hollywood movies. Listen, if you're a fan of The Culture Garden, if I have to explain why that scene is fascinating to me,
for sure,
and I don't know what to tell you, but obviously that bond, not only because we do a podcast that kind of loves the same thing, but also it's the first real moment where it did start to be believable, right? It wasn't just a random hookup. It's like, oh shit, there's something to be said. Shared interest. And not only that, I think the most telling thing, and this is specific to Jenna because she's the older one. She made a comment and said, I've never met anyone in my life who knows about Nina Mae McKinney. That's a flex for you, Eric.
For sure.
Not any of my age range. I wouldn't expect any. It's not like, when your mom used to play, she'll play, I don't know, Frankie Beverly and Maze. And the song will come on, not the ones but the beat cut. And your mama would be like, you don't know nothing about this, boy. You don't know nothing about this. It ain't like one of them joints. It's literally like nobody in my entire existence has ever known who this person was. And he did the cool shit, what you got your grandmama up for? Nah, I know who that is. And like, oh shit. When somebody surprises you for the first time, you start to take them seriously.
For sure.
You start to take them serious. Like, oh, you got more to you than I thought. Maybe there's some more potential than what we thought was going on. And I just thought that was a dope moment because it became more than just a young nigga I can fuck on. And I don't even think they had sex yet at this point.
No, they hadn't.
So I just think it's like, oh shit. I still don't think she thought I'm gonna fall in love with this nigga.
Yeah.
But he does make me feel some things. And when you've been in the dumps for a year, I'm sure it feels great to feel some things.
Come on. Touch me on the inside. Make me feel good. I love that for those same reasons. And again, he does have a master's in film, so there's that. But
USC.
Big
dog film school.
I didn't have it in my scenes, but I did have it in my random things. Just like, oh, I love that. Especially just giving the parallel, like, fucking Culture Garden. Come on.
Yeah, come on now. Yeah, that's what we're here for.
But that's what we're here for. My next scene is actually the dinner party.
Got it.
And leading up to it, just because I think that at this particular age, we've had people try to set us up. And it is almost always some foolishness.
JP tried to set me up, man. I've left that nigga on red.
Okay, we'll talk about it when y'all get here.
That nigga sent the Facebook profile. Man, I left that. I ain't even respond to that nigga.
Oh shit. Okay, send it to me because I'm about to be weak. But she says a line, once I heard he had dinner with Vision, he was an option. He can read, he can spell, he can write. That fucking matters, okay? Because it's a lot of motherfuckers that cannot spell and cannot write. And if you, my homegirl, there. I had I was telling one of my homegirls very recently about an elder statesman that I met. He's not quite 50, but he's not 38 either. And this motherfucker cannot spell. And it was like a meme that was like, bitch, he's a hood nigga. Of course he can't spell.
Man, he probably don't know about ChatGPT either, man. Tell him to write that shit off for him.
But I'm sure there's a red line under that. It's an iPhone. But shout out to the dinner party. Back to the movie. I appreciated the whole thing. Jenna had a very nice setup. We saw her bond with Eric over the Nina portrait, Nina May. But inviting him and his friends to the party is kind of nuts. But
that's what I wanted to ask you.
It's kind of nuts.
Was that kind of crazy?
It's crazy for multiple reasons. One, because all y'all bitches is 40. Why
tell
do
your
you think
friends to get with my friends?
We can be friends.
Hold on, maybe we probably ain't supposed to be quoting Diddy right now. My bad, y'all.
Oh God, definitely.
My bad, y'all. My bad.
These 20-somethings are not going to have a good time. Although they did, but I just wouldn't invite them. And if I'm hosting a party with the intent to meet a man who I may or may not bond with or being set up with, I'm not inviting somebody I know I got a funny little thing with. Now, we talk all the time about me saying I love a little healthy competition. However, I'm not doing that shit in my home. I'm gonna play the game elsewhere so that I can get scarce. I can't do this at my home because also I don't want y'all motherfuckers knowing where I live just yet. But
a blind date at the crib, even if other people are there, is insane because these niggas don't live here. They're gonna leave, and you might come back by yourself, and these niggas ain't here. Like, that's insane to me.
Exactly. Shout out to Godfrey, aka James, who was 50, never married, no children.
And insecure about that shit.
And very insecure about that. But he's also Guyanese and been to the motherland. He wears it on his chest because what did he say? You never know. If you've never been home, something like that.
Go ahead and touch it. Go ahead and touch it.
Go ahead and touch it. I appreciated it because, again, we see Jenna actively trying to listen to this nigga's nonsense ass stories. It's nothing worse than sitting there having to listen to somebody tell you some shit you don't give a piece of a fuck about. Like, not one iota of a fuck about this shit.
I'm sorry, man. I thought about that Mace clip, that clip that goes around like, I can't tell you how much I don't care.
I can't tell you how
much I don't care.
Not just that, am I having to listen to you over here, but I'm also looking at the nigga that I kind of got a little crush on. I got a thing for you, baby. I got you over here and you look good. I want to see what you're talking about. Now we done took this edible. The body is doing something. We keep finding ourselves touching, smiling. We're slow dancing in the room. Meanwhile, fucking Godfrey James is over here making awkward conversation. You don't know who Eric is, but immediately you call him son. So you are trying to son this man literally and throw shots, and to the point that it doesn't become physical, but it gets tense in the house because James has tried to play in Jenna's face. Because of his insecurity, he mistook her making general conversation as shade. And that is typically what the insecure do, but it is what it is. I appreciated Eric stepping up, because who the fuck is you talking to? You know? That's Big Jenna, not the little one. And I'm not a little boy. Yeah, I'm young, but I'm not your son. I'm not a child. I'm not going. And I like that. I really like a defender.
All right, let me get into the scene myself. All right, so first and foremost, kickback is always smooth.
Love a kickback.
All right, if you want me, I listen. If you want me to pull up, if you want me to show up somewhere, have a kickback. I guarantee you, I'll show up. I'm gonna bring a bottle, whether it's liquor, I might bring a nice bottle of wine, whatever it is. I'm not coming empty-handed. I'm gonna have a good time. Kickbacks are my thing. So shout out to that first and foremost. The element of, and obviously, I haven't experienced this since I'm not a woman, but the element of your homegirl seeing the nigga you've been talking about for the first time. I thought that was interesting. And the film did a great job of showing us what kind of friends she has.
Yeah.
Right. We know what type from the very first time we met them and everything, what kind of friends she has, and just how they low-key funny in a real way. I think that was a real funny, just the way they walk up on them and hand them the drinks. Don't say anything, but kind of give that look. Then they sit down on the couch like, Eric, we heard a lot about you, from work, we know you work well together and things, just trying to be funny low key, but nah, I can kind of see, if you're going to crash out over a young nigga, they probably looking like, all right, then I kind of understand it, whatever.
That'd be a fine young nigga. Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's what Lala's character said, and all that stuff. So there's complimenting him, just whatever. No judgment. And I like that, right? Because a lot of movies, I'm thinking about Daddy's Little Girl. Shout out to Gabby Union once again. Friends will look at you like, nigga, what the fuck is you doing? Dating Monty Mechanic's ass. Like, man, stop playing, man. You a high class lawyer. You get those friends that just judge you. You feel me? You get friends that judge you, man. But they was like, nah, I'm here for it, man. Because once again, we've been saying it over and over. Anything to get you back on that horse.
For sure.
No pun intended. Anything to get you back on that horse, you'll be good to go. You know what I'm saying? Get your
Look at that horse. Look at that horse. Look at that horse.
Chill out, man. And then once again, you mentioned Jimmy, man. Jimmy just don't fit. Like these niggas start taking edibles. He's throwing slow motion punches like the Matrix. It's just like, all right, bro. Like,
and meaning not being funny, he meant it.
He meant that shit, man. He meant that shit. And it's just like, all right, man. And that's cool. Like, I appreciate you being you, but I already know what type of time it is. And I think that's what Jenna really realized it as well. And then we understand they feeling each other, right? You got one more time to sun me. Like you said, you love a defender, Rachel. Got one more time to sun you. And then obviously the tension because Tim, CeeLo Brim's character, comes in, man. We ain't about to be disrespected by somebody who look like they work at the Baby Gap. Then all of a sudden, hold on, what the fuck is going on with you? He got an allergic reaction. But one of the funniest lines of that whole scene to me was like, "That's what your lip would have looked like had you fought me outside." Like, old man shit. That old man shit is real. The first conversation, or their time, that conversation in the kitchen. I don't know, y'all. You got to experience it. I'm sure all of you have. That moment, there's something to be said about knowing someone and feeling someone, but we didn't just jump right into it. Yeah, we had our moment at the party, we was kissing, but there's still some anticipation. And now you at the crib, it's the perfect scenario, right?
Yeah.
You're at the crib, you're having some conversation, everybody else done left and filed out. You try to do the players thing, like, all right, man, it's getting late, I'm gonna get up out of here. Nah, you ain't going nowhere. And just that moment of thinking like, damn, is this it? Am I about to go down? And then both of them having that. And then, like I said, it kind of takes off from there. So everything about that whole scene, I really appreciate it. Probably, this is my favorite scene. Top 2, probably. Top 3 for sure.
For sure.
For sure. So shout out to the dinner party, man. What's your next scene, Rachel? Or is it on me?
Technically, it's on you.
I had Darcy confronting Jenna in her office. Like lightly confronting Jenna
Okay.
about Eric. Do you
Okay.
have anything before that?
I don't think it's before that. Go ahead.
It's just a moment more so than the scene. Not only do I have the woman intuition, I have the mama
The
intuition.
mother, for sure.
Y'all do a lot of work, huh? Y'all do great work together, huh? I did put y'all together, didn't I, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Cut the shit. What's going on?
Yeah.
Coming to you right now to let you know. Because I know how you move. Because you fucked my old dude. Rachel unveiled new mysteries. You might have fucked Otis. You feel me? Like,
For
I
sure.
know how you move. And I know, and I honestly think this wasn't about Jenna. This is more so about my son
Yeah.
is 24, 25.
Yeah.
You're an attractive woman. You work very closely. I know what can happen. More
Mm-hmm.
things that happen
Mm-hmm.
with less.
Yeah,
Sometimes you just need that space, right?
for sure.
You need that moment in the best man when you studying and all of a sudden Stevie start playing and you just have a moment because we by
Yeah,
ourselves in this moment. Anything can happen. And I know what that can lead to. And I'm just letting you know right now, before it even goes down that path, cut that shit.
for
Right? We're not
sure.
about to do that. No distractions. I'm not trying to have it. She
Yeah.
said no distractions. She agreed to it. So I just thought that was a good scene, just because the fact that Darcy picked up on that shit ASAP. Not
Mm-hmm.
only picked up on it, sit down. Let's have a talk. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this as politely as possible.
Well, remember, we also have the photo shoot where the camera person takes that candid photo
That's
of
after though.
them. Is that after that?
The New York Times is right
The
after.
New
Yep.
York Times. Okay, I thought that was right before in my mind.
Yep.
Okay,
Because I think that conversation would have had that already came out. That conversation would have been different.
for
That
sure.
and I actually think it's brilliant that they did the New York after that because it's strictly
Mhm.
showing you about Darcy knowing.
Knowing,
Before I see
being
any
right.
photo,
You're
before
right.
anything,
You're
I
right.
know.
Mhm.
I know. It's telling
Mm.
you. And I
Mhm.
hope I'm wrong, but just in case, as a woman to woman, professional courtesy, stop that shit.
And I respected it.
You ain't got no choice but.
I respected it. Does Jenna not obliging make you look at her different?
Yes, because more than anything, as much as we talk about how much we love Rachel,
Mhm.
we also know that life is not a movie,
Yeah.
and this is your comeback story. And maybe it's me because of everything I said earlier, where I don't even believe them niggas like that.
Mhm.
Stop this shit. Get back on
For
your
sure.
shit. You with Darcy. You killing it. Your name is ringing out again. You why risk something for somebody I don't even know if you like all the way. Yes, I
Yeah.
look at you different because you did not put your business first. Or even if you didn't put your business first, nah, I probably would have looked at her crazy. Had she come out and said, "Hey, I'm really feeling your son," I still would have looked at her crazy. Like, you wilding.
I'm looking at you crazy because
Yeah,
you're 40.
yeah. So there's no, yeah,
Mhm.
you can only live in the dark for so long
For sure. For
before that shit
sure.
comes out. And you're old enough to know better. Eric, you can give him a pass. He's still learning. Life is still teaching him shit.
Yeah.
Jenna, come on now. You know what's going on.
Um,
And it never fails, Rachel. Anytime somebody have a sit down with you about some shit that they know,
mhm.
they ain't said it. They don't even know that's going on, and you know what's
Yeah,
going on. That's your perfect time to stop. That's the
for
warning.
sure.
That's God telling you right now.
That's
This is
the
the
one.
moment.
Like me needing to go move my work car.
Mm-hmm. This is it, man.
Maybe
I try to
God
tell
is
you
trying to
this.
tell you something.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my next scene is not until the fight in the park.
With
You
Jenna
have
grown
anything
ass
before
acting like a child with Madison. Nope, that's my next scene too.
that? Okay. So
Stop
we're
it.
at Billy's daughter's park photo shoot. Shout out to all the black ballerinas. Hello. I'm going to see Alvin
Mm-hmm.
Ailey this weekend. I'm so excited. Hopefully this
Mm-hmm.
little whatever back up off me. But Jenna and Eric are here on their first essentially public outing as a, dare I say, couple. First public thing, non-work
Whatever.
event, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
You're with my friends and my people, you're shooting, getting some B-roll or whatever. And not only do you meet my friend's daughter, we see that your ex is there. The ballerina who we just had this very premature, ridiculous argument about in the first place. Here she is. And here I come, fresh off of you telling me I love you and me not really having the words or not really saying I love you back. Here we are in the park, you having a general conversation. He wasn't being flirty. Madison, she was putting a little sauce on that good to see you. She was. Howsoever, Eric really wasn't playing into it. He was being cordial. I thought. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But Jenna stomps over there, introduces herself. She said, "Oh, are you one of the moms? Whose mom are you?"
Which kid is yours?
Cause your grown ass, while me and my nigga that's the same age as me are over here having a conversation. It's weird, And Eric says, we work together.
Hold on. Go ahead. Finish your thought, because I got. Yep, we do work together. Because I've been trying to claim your ass for a minute. You keep telling me I'm in the shadows, right? We ain't public, right? I bet. Yeah, we work together.
I hear you, but first off, I'm not walking over there in that situation, because what the fuck? I'm gonna hear you. You're gonna hear about it, but I'm not walking over there.
Actually, I know you can't control your friends, right? I know we like to say that in what we do, but we all have friends where you just know you gotta let them do what they do. But man, I'm looking at our homegirls. I'm like, yo, man, sit your ass down, man. What you about to do? I see you. I see the stomp that you have, the ferocity that you are walking across this grass with. You look crazy right now.
Yeah,
you look crazy right now. But that's neither here nor there.
It was a mess, and so she was offended. Which, okay, if you just introduce me as your coworker, I'm gonna have an attitude, but I'm not going over there in that moment. Again, we see, and to your point at the start of it, Jenna behaving a little childishly. But here's my grace that I started off the episode with. She's still stuck at 30 and not 40, and she doesn't know what she wants. There is a level of jealousy that comes anytime you see one of yours entertaining somebody, and this is your ex-girlfriend. Like,
one of yours is crazy. One of yours is nuts. Whatever. Like they Infinity Stones and shit. Yeah, that's one of my shit. Yeah, you funny as fuck, Rachel.
I didn't love it.
Yeah, nah, there was a lose-lose. There's nothing Eric could have said.
Sure.
I can't introduce you as my girlfriend because we ain't supposed to be that, right?
Yeah.
And not only that, that's kind of weird that this woman I just broke up with, because like you said, Eric's not pressed. So I ain't really got no incentive to. Matter of fact, I shouldn't be introducing you with shit, because your ass should be over at the table.
That part.
With crafts and shit.
That part.
You know what I mean? So you came over unannounced. You've been giving me strict rules after I told you I loved you, that we need to keep this under wraps and your career is on the line and blah, blah, blah. So what you want me to say? You my girl? Nah, I can't do that. I'm trying to be courteous and say you my coworker, because that's what it is, or we work together. Yeah. That's what it is. After you get upset, I ask you to kiss me. Show me that it's real. You don't want to do that. So now we playing, right? Yeah. Now we arguing at a kid's party. That's not a good look. Shout out to Lawrence and Condola. Looking crazy on the block. Arguing at a black ballerina party is nuts. Looking crazy on the block. Not about to do this. Shout out to Eric for having the maturity once again
to get the fuck out of there again.
I'm out of here, man. I'm not about to do this, because I never imagined that I'd be at a kid's birthday party arguing with this woman who I love that can't even say I'm that girl.
Ew. Crazy.
Yeah, man. I'm out of there, man. I'm out of there. So it is what it is. It's not a scene, Rachel. I just want everybody, if you haven't seen the Orange Jones, shout out to Juice. We see the moment when DB Woodside's character Brian is waiting for Jenna and his mom had died and everything else. And obviously it looks different, right? Eric's trying to pull up on her. He sees them hugged up, leaving together. He thinks it's something else. But the fact that they played I Saw You and Him Walking in the Rain. Like, if you haven't seen that music video about Orange Jones, like I said, shout out to Juice. It's one of the funniest shits I've ever seen in my life. That nigga was pressed.
He was.
Like, that nigga did his best detective work. Oh, you miss me? I miss you too. I miss you so much. I followed you today. Yeah, that nigga. Go watch that music video, y'all. I think what do they call it? What's the term? He read her. He read her. Like he read her in that music video, bro. Like it's one of the funniest clips ever. I just wanted to everybody take time. So it has nothing to do with the scene. It's just a song they use in that scene. Shout out to Juice.
Shout out to Juice.
I followed you. And shout out how crazy it is. Imagine telling your girl, yeah, I followed your ass today. Yeah, you sound nuts. Like, what?
Oh, yeah, nuts.
Yeah, you were holding hands.
Yeah, sounds on, nuts. Wink, wink.
Sounds crazy. Yeah, man, that shit's silly, man. It's one of my favorite songs because of the video. Shout out to the 80s, man. Shout out to the 80s.
Shout out to the 80s.
What you got, Rachel? I only got one more scene, really. I'm sure you might have more, but I only got one that I really want to talk about.
My next scene is actually, I have brief mention of the fall in love montage just because we love a montage. But Darcy walking in on Jenna and Eric is my next scene.
Okay. Do you want me to tell you what happened in the book?
Yes, please.
So, obviously, but they both work. In the book, Jenna and Eric was sneaking and geeking on a 10th floor fashion closet. That was their little spot. Intuition, of course. Darcy know what the fuck going on, especially in my building.
Yeah,
y'all niggas crazy.
Yeah.
Once again, in my crib, y'all niggas crazy. But she installed cameras in the closet.
Oh, Jesus.
And she played the footage in front of the entire staff of the company. That's what happened in the book. That's how it got found out that they was fucking. Would you have preferred to see that or what we got in the movie?
Oh, low key, I think I would have rather saw that. Cause what the fuck? Don't be fucking you 40 going to somebody's mama house. Are you fucking crazy?
I've worked the retail jobs. I've worked the lids and the Foot Lockers. I understand. Those come a dime a dozen, right? There's been plenty of times. Let me close the store down real quick. Come slide to the back. You know what I'm saying? Back in 15 minutes. You know what I mean? There's been plenty of times. Now, let me stop. A couple times. Not plenty. Let me not say that as an everyday thing.
Please.
There have been a couple times when I've gotten a text message and things are slow. I'm gonna put this gate down, pull up, it's whatever.
Yeah.
I couldn't even, Rachel, I honestly couldn't even picture a scenario in my life at 38 years old with responsibilities, bills, roof over the head, all of that, all the shit that I'm responsible for to survive. Ain't no pussy that good in the world gonna be fucking at the job.
Come on.
To lose all my shit.
Come on.
It just ain't happening.
Not at all.
So for Jenna, as we clearly stated and known, this is her comeback story. This is a make or break. If this doesn't work, it's over for her. Eric ain't turning you out like that, man. Ain't no way. What the fuck is you thinking? And for moms to be like, you know what? I wonder what she's got to be a Gemini. She got to be a Gemini, man. She don't. That's nasty.
Yeah.
I'm playing it in front of the staff. It's one thing to confront you with it. Come to the office. Nah, I'm putting this shit on loop, and the whole staff gonna know y'all niggas sneaking and geeking on the 10th floor in the closet. And if any of y'all other niggas that have any ideas, I promise I'll do the same to y'all.
Oh, Jesus.
That shit wild, man.
That is crazy.
Talk about
That's
embarrassing.
crazy. Yeah, high key. Um,
How you do that to your son?
Cause I gotta show you who the real big mama is around here.
I know you. All right, man.
Real mama, real mama. Um, I love that. I actually low key would have liked that a little better, but 3. But I actually love the way that Darcy rightfully embarrassed Jenna in her home. Because yeah, the work thing, work is work is work is work.
You
But
fucking with the
bitch, you're
crib.
in
That's
my
crazy.
home. You're in my house on my couch with my child. Who, as a woman, I asked you to stay away from. This was the first time to me that Eric felt young.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Now you are a little boy. Like, yeah, you are a kid. Cause you also ain't say I said I love a defender. Where was that? You can't defend me against your fucking mom, nigga. You acting like you 12 years old. We in this fucking house. We're caught in a compromising position. Say something. The only thing you can say is y'all talked about me. You didn't think to tell me. Nigga, no. Because the adults were talking.
But it's funny. No, everything you're saying is absolutely correct. You made me think of a good point. It was at that moment when she looks over at Eric for that confirmation where I'm like, you look crazy right now looking for this little kid to come save you.
Come on.
Which lets you know you shouldn't have been doing the shit in the first place.
You shouldn't have been fucking with that nigga in the first place.
I said this before. I don't know if I said it on this podcast. I know I've told people in real life. I encourage and urge all of you to say things out loud before you do them. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Picture yourself having to explain it to someone. Why did you get fired from Darzine? Oh, my homegirl's friend who she connected with at my dinner party is good at pretty much scamming. She got the penthouse key to this building, gave it to me. I snuck in to the penthouse to see my 20-something-year-old boyfriend who had been dodging me.
Crazy.
And that nigga was eating my shit out on the couch when his mama came in, who's also my age. If you say that shit out loud, I guarantee you don't go up there and do none of that shit. Because it sounds crazy coming out your mouth. You sound insane. You looking over at him to save you, you look insane. And it's
crazy.
It's too late at that point.
Crazy.
It's too late at that point. It's inside. It's a wild.
She deserved that embarrassment.
Baby, I deserve. Yes, she did.
Yeah, it was well warranted. So
how long have you two been fucking in my house? Because let me tell you something right now. I don't have kids. Kids gonna do what they do.
Yeah.
If you ain't got the decency to not fucking my crib, yeah, your grown ass. Come on, man. Stop playing with me, man.
Stop playing, yeah. Kids, not adults. Next scene. Oh, go ahead.
Real quick though, Rachel. And we didn't really talk about the talking to that Jenna got, but I felt Darcy 100%. Sure. I came to you as a courtesy. I came to you because I knew this shit was going on. And I didn't even press you about it. I didn't ask you if it was true. I just let you know in my own subtle way.
Yeah.
Check that shit. And you told me everything was cool. Now you're trying to find the semantics in it. Get the fuck out of my house. If you're not unaware, you're fired. You know what I mean? You should be embarrassed for all this shit. I don't know, man. Anyway, what's your next scene, Rachel?
My next scene is actually the pregnancy announcement to him.
You're good. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah. They hadn't seen each other in some weeks, some months, and Big Jenna is bellied out. She produces this ultrasound picture, and again we see At first, I said we see Eric be a kid again, but maybe he wasn't being childish about it. But his reaction wasn't what Jenna was expecting. He was rightfully upset because, to his point, I thought we were gonna like catch up, not tell me that maybe you trapped me with a baby.
It's a
Even
life
though
changer.
I don't believe adults are trapped, who are not using protection.
Playing the
Yeah,
dirt, you get dirty.
that's it. That's it. So I just like that just because it was the culmination of everything, you know. Again, this bitch is pregnant, she's 40. And it's what she wanted. You know, she wanted something more. I want a baby. I want a family, this and the third.
Something
It's
to show
not your
for it, as she
decision to
said.
make, which is interesting and unfortunate because my body, my choice. But it is a conversation that two people should have, or else you're like Anthony Edwards out here arguing with your 40-year-old baby mama at 23, you know? It could have been another way. We didn't have to go here. It did not have to get to this point. But he
Didn't have to
leaves her
get
because
there,
he doesn't
man.
want to be yelling at a pregnant lady because it's not a good look.
Did you have any issues with that? His reaction?
I I didn't love it, but I understand. I didn't feel like he overreacted. Again, this is a child. I mean, he's grown, but he's a kid. We have not seen each other, have not spoken in X amount of time, and you're producing an ultrasound. I'm sure it's not the first ultrasound. When you found out you were pregnant, that should have been the call. Like, you should have told me then. We have a discussion and we decide, like, no, I can't tell you to go to the chop shop, but we can at least have a
Yo,
different
what the fuck
conversation.
is going on?
Especially since, especially the way that we broke up, quote unquote, you know?
The chop shop.
Yeah.
I told you earlier, these niggas bump into each other randomly in a Brooklyn park in the book, and that's how they find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd much rather have this conversation at the coffee shop versus finding out that I got a kid out here who's a toddler.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah, for sure. But I also feel I hate watching the scene, but I also understand, Eric. Like, when somebody hits you up out the blue, especially your old thing, somebody you love,
yeah,
you still processing all your own all your own feelings, trying to figure out what's what. You thinking, oh shit, old thing that came back. I'm excited to see her.
Yeah.
Excited to see what she been going on. You know, you come out, man, you look good, your hair look good, all of that. Then all of a sudden, surprise. What the fuck you mean surprise? It's a life changer, man.
For sure.
That's a life changer. So yeah, I understand me needing a few moments, or Eric needing a few moments to go and process my thoughts and feelings, because this is the last thing I thought you was gonna tell me.
Yeah.
I didn't think your old ass could. Never mind.
See, don't do that.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that's what he was thinking.
Yeah.
Right. That's what he was thinking. That's not me talking. That's me in the form of Eric. Just to the shock of it.
Yeah.
So I can understand something so left field being presented to you. Like, well, I didn't even think this was possible. Like, literally, I could have named maybe 1,600 other things that could have been brought up before you said this. So I get it. I get it. He didn't see it coming, man. He was blindsided by that.
For sure.
Of course you want to see him handle it differently and be a little bit more mature about it, but I understand the human emotion and all that kind of good stuff. What's your next scene?
Darcy confronting Jenna again, just because, you know, we're going to do things differently. We finally have to have a different woman to woman talk. That's it. The last little bit, the gala, last 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. I would say that as well. Just because Darcy's like, listen, man, like it or not, we family. I'm not going to do to you what my parents did to me and Otis. I'm going to welcome this child in. You sure have some way of one-upping me. Like, you're the woman that I despise, the woman that slept with my ex-boyfriend, the one who's sleeping with my son, is also the woman that's making me a grandmother. It's just wild. It's just a lot of shit going on.
It is.
I'm glad they were able to reconcile. I'm glad they were able to. I'm glad that Eric showed up to the hospital, was there for the ultrasound.
Yeah.
They're able to work things out. Whatever. Whatever. Shout out to them. But whatever. This whole thing is, y'all wild, man.
Y'all crazy.
Y'all wild. That's all I can say, man. I love a good, happy story. I love the ups and downs. But if I'm y'all friend, I got to tell you every time I see y'all wild.
Yeah.
I wish I believed it a little bit more.
Yeah, I did think it was interesting. One of the first conversations Darcy and Jenna had, Jenna says, my legacy is tied to you. And who knew that would also not just be professionally, but personally as well. Because yes, my legacy, my child is your first grandchild. Crazy.
Oh, wait till that kid's old enough to hear the story about, how they got into the world. How he got into the world. I think it was a boy.
It's a boy.
Shout out to that.
Shout out to that.
Carrying your ass, man. Shout out to she know, man. Jenna like Ray P, man. She be knowing.
Darcy,
Gina Torres, my bad. Darcy.
Oh yeah.
She be knowing. Yeah, she be knowing. She be knowing. For sure. Man. All right, Ray. That's our scenes. Yeah. That's the film. Best quotes. You got anything for best quotes?
Yep. I got, you're a grown ass woman. You gonna land on your feet. That's her mom, Jenna Hubert. That's what friends are for. Voices for the vagina, because of course, content is king and community is queen. That's Lokia Bar. Eric got some vintage pussy, some AARP pussy. He's 50 years old. He can spell, he can write. Once I heard he had dental and vision, he was an option because niggas don't be having that. I want to love desperately. It's obscene. I want to love so intense it makes people uncomfortable to be around us. I love that. I love that because I feel like
that was one of my.
That's what. Go ahead.
No, that was one of my quotes.
Yeah, that's what makes it hard to be entertaining bullshit. Oh, I have this in the wrong spot. That's the last quote, but we didn't talk about it. The naked convo after the bridge walk, just because I love an intimate scene like that. And that was it. Go ahead.
You pretty much ran through everything that I had. Don't say it was a mistake. Mistakes don't sound like that.
Yeah.
That was the only other one. And then, like I said, Eric got some vintage pussy. Eric got him some vintage pussy. I think that's hilarious. Scene stealer. What you have?
So this was a little difficult for me. I have Janet Hubert because I really want to give it to Gina Torres, but
I was gonna say
I didn't know if she was in too many scenes to be a scene stealer.
For it to be an hour and 39 minutes, she might have had a total of 10 to 12 minutes of screen time. I think she qualifies, but it also does feel like she's third billing.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. If it's not Janet Hubert, it's Godfrey.
Okay.
But the real answer is Gina Torres. Like, she's great. She's great in this. So shout out to her. That's my scene stealer overall for the film. Things that bother you?
I kind of already talked about it, just kind of how Jenna was acting in some of those scenes, and I randomly yeah, I don't know, not really. It's little nothing.
I don't have anything, man. Jenna, I will say Jenna was corny for real.
Yeah,
she was corny. Like, she was corny.
She was corny.
Calling herself Lowry's and like, you want to stay and play Parcheesi? Like that? Shut up! Stop! You about to talk yourself out of some dick. Stop.
I'm so weak. We didn't talk about it. Shout out to them watching School Days at the drive-in. Shout out to the drive-in.
Shout out to them watching school there. That's another thing that shout out to driving, man. The very first episode of Culture Garden, we talked about school and myself, just our movie history, and the drive-in theater was such a big part of my childhood and love of movies. Man, what a time. Yeah. But I will say this. This ships bothers me.
Well, that's what the people were saying at that point.
And they probably were. I've never heard that since then. Shout out to
Winnie Harlow.
Shout out to Winnie Harlow. She just recently got engaged too. So shout out to her. But I don't think I've ever heard that term outside of this film, like before and after it. So it sounds like something that was trying to make fetch work.
It was making fetch happen. Yeah. It was on social media. It was very much like young person language.
Okay, that algorithm missed me because I didn't know that was a thing, and it just sounded like something they tried to force. All right, so never mind. I'll take that back. Come see about me. Anything?
No.
I don't think so either. Any actors from The Wire? No actors from The Wire. Wouldn't let that happen to me. You got anything, Rachel?
I'm not getting caught at 40 fucking in your mama house.
Yeah, so we pretty much had the same thing. I'm not getting caught fucking at the mom's house, and similar to my making out in public, New York Times ain't catching me lacking.
Bruh.
Especially, and not even Eric, like forget Eric's point of view. Jenna, after you just had this conversation with Darcy, New York Times, I'm never gonna be that. I'm gonna be so aware you're never gonna catch me lacking.
That part.
You drinking out my coffee cup, my nigga.
Crazy. Why are you doing that?
What are you doing? Like, what's y'all doing in public? Like, and girls like, get that, man. Go ahead. She probably worked at TMZ. Shout out to her. No trivia for the film. Nothing really happened for the film. But we get to the end, Rachel. We get to rate it. Very curious to see what your rating is.
Okay.
The average viewer who rates this film or watches this film rates it at a 5.2 out of 10.
Shit. God damn.
Too high, too low, just right.
That is so low. I thought you were going to say a 6.2, and I was going to say too low, and I'm going to go 6.8.
Oh. This is interesting. I'm going 6.1.
Okay. Damn.
I'm going 6.1. I can't keep it in the fives. I think that's a little bit too disrespectful.
Too low. Yeah.
Because I will watch this movie again. As much as I say like I don't believe them, it doesn't mean that it's not a good story and I won't watch it. I will watch this film again. I don't know. Maybe over time the dots will connect a little bit more. I can't put it up there in the upper echelon, but it's definitely in the sixes, and I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
Rose Bouquet, Whole Damn Garden.
I'm gonna give it some stems.
It's getting a rose, man. It's getting
a rose.
The Beauty and the Beast rose.
And a baby's breath.
Yeah, it's getting the rose, man, and that's it. You know what I mean? Okay. Shout out to them. Like, it's just, I don't know. Hit us up. Let us know what y'all think, man. Let us know what y'all think, man. If I'm crazy, whatever the case may be. Rachel, as always.
It's always a pleasure. Oh, before we go, I just want to shout out one of our listeners who engages with us quite frequently, who just got married. Congratulations, AJ. It's romance month,
man. Shout out to AJ. Shout
out to you, girl.
To AJ, man. AJ, she told us recently, maybe in the last year, whenever it was, a couple months ago, because she's with child as well.
Yeah.
And she said, my baby already know who y'all are, and that's just a dope thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we listen to you, and I don't know, man. I know it's a comment, and I don't want to say in passing because it's not in passing.
Yeah.
But I know it can be easily taken as like, oh, that's cool. But when you really sit down and think about that, like, yo, there's a life that hasn't even entered the world yet that kind of knows our voices because her mom is such a supporter of what we do. I just think that's incredible, man. So shout out to AJ.
Shout out to our pie baby.
Shout out to our pie baby, man. Yeah, man. We the pie parents. We the pie parents, man. We are officially claiming that. I did reach out. Well, we'll talk about that offline. I don't want to, I think anything that we. Yeah, shout out to that, man. Shout out to AJ, man, and the family and her
for sure
new nuptials and child, everything, man. So, and shout out to all y'all, man. All the Culture Garden family. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all, man. I always see y'all doing big things, and I'm proud of everybody doing things. And anytime I see promotions at work and other things, man, we listen. Shout out to y'all, man. We can't do this without y'all, as always. We'll be back next week, as we said. No romance movie. It will be Black Reel Awards. School will be on the episode with us talking about the lineup from 2024. Once again, we'll have that discussion. And then at the beginning of March, we will have our last romance episode before we get back into the regular swing of things. Rachel, anything else before we get out of here?
No. Thank y'all for listening, watching, subscribing, liking, and sharing. Happy Pisces season. Peace out. Y'all, don't get sick. Be safe. Take your vitamins, man. Wear a mask, all of that.
Vitamins, vitamins, go to the vitamin store, get some oil of oregano, take 4 drops every single day during this season. It will help you. If you don't want to put it directly, because it is intense. It is intense. I'm telling you right now, go ahead and put 4 drops in a glass of water. Take it that way. Thank me later. All right, y'all. We out. Peace.
Peace.